Simcha, celebration, Simcha, Simcha, celebration of life.
Hello, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Nikki Wallman. Multi-talented musician Aaron Tourist Schwartz began his musical adventure at the tender age of 13 by learning to play the piano. He later diversified his musical skills by playing drums, percussion, singing, and composing original music. It was through his passion for music that Aaron was one of the founding members of the cross-cultural, multi-award-winning band Freshly Ground.
Music is a huge part of my life, and it always has been. You know, I grew up in a very musical family. Even my grandparents, in fact on both sides, my grandmothers played music. Even my great-grandparents played music. But yeah, I mean, I sing and I write a lot of music. I mean, there's just always music coming out of me. I've got obsessive percussive disorder. Well, when I was 17, I saw U2 performing at the old Greenpoint Stadium, and after the show I was actually there with my dad, and he said, "So what did you think?" And I said, "I can do that." And it awakened a dream in me of being a musician. I started studying film and drama at UCT, and I decided, okay, by the end of my degree I want to start a band. It was just first me and a guitarist, then we invited another person to come play violin, and then another guy came, brought his flute and bira, and eventually within a few weeks, I think there was 6 of us, and we had our first gig in this tiny little place in Observatory. A bassist joined us, and there was suddenly 7 of us, and everyone said, "Oh, we need a name." So we decided, okay, we'll do it very democratically. And then we got the audience to vote at one of our gigs, and they voted for Freshly Ground, and so that became the name. At the back of my head, there's always been this thing of, you know, I'm actually a Levi, and so I'm from that lineage, and I remember somebody once telling me that the Leviim were, you know, the keepers of music and culture back in the day, in the deserts, you know? In a way, it almost makes me feel like that's my, almost my purpose here, to make a difference, to make an impact. You know, music can have a very healing effect both on individuals and on the community. So in 2008, Freshly Ground was invited to go and perform for World AIDS Day in a tiny little town called Douglas in the Northern Cape. While we were doing our sound check, the MC came on stage and said into the mic, "Is julle gereed vir Larry?" Everyone went crazy, and people were screaming out, "Who's Larry?" And he played 2 songs. One was in Xhosa and one was in Spanish. And people seemed to know the songs.
I didn't see anybody else. I just looked at his face and I said, he's got this open face, you know. And he said, "Hey man, who are you?"
And he said, "Hey, my name's Larry, and I'm an inmate here in the Douglas prison. And the government sometimes brings me out to play for the people." I just could not believe it.
I said, "Yeah." And I showed him downstairs and the wardens was waiting for me there. He just asked me, "What's your phone number?" And I said, "Well, we're not allowed to have cell phones in here, so can I have one of the wardens' phone number?" And yeah, she actually gave him his number.
And she told me all about him and that he's such an inspiration in the prison, and they're really doing everything they can to, you know, support him. I mean, she was totally in love with him as well.
In a chance meeting with prisoner Larry Joe, the course of Aaron's musical career changed, and so began the realization of a dream.
We spent 2 days together in the prison, and then during the course of 2010, I visited him 4 times, and the final time, which was in September, we spent 5 days recording this album. There was one little cell where there was space for Larry and his guitar and the microphones, and then we were in the next door cell with our, all our equipment.
I used to know everything about you, just being a stranger. Just wanna let you know, I just wanna let you know. I used to know everything about you, just being a stranger. Just wanna let you know, I just wanna let you know.
My main intention was to capture the power and the gentle quality of his voice, so that people could actually hear what was going on. He's sitting there by himself in solitary confinement, writing these incredible songs.
It all just disappeared.
Yeah, at the age of 3.5, my father started, showing me the basic chords on the guitar, like 3 simple chords. And I had my first performance when I was 5 years in a church concert. At the age of 15, I started experimenting with drugs, and when I committed the housebreaking and theft offense, I was addicted to Mendrex. I woke up and I realized, I'm not the person that I'm pretending to be. I've adjusted so many personalities along the way in order to survive.
He handed himself in after 7 years on the run, and made a decision to change his life.
Because I always dreamed about being a musician, and I knew I could if I wanted to. And I had a book and I started writing my feelings down, because it wasn't easy sharing my emotions with prisoners. You're supposed to be hardcore inside prison. And I took out my guitar to match what I'm feeling and what I'm saying, for people to, when they listen to it, to know what I want to say. Yeah, when we met, actually, I didn't know what to expect the first time in February when it got down. I finally realized that we got so much in common. Even if I've been a gangster, I've been experimenting with drugs, he's growing in a different environment, but our stories is so similar. I mean, we go through the same phases, but in different ways. I'm part of his world, he's part of my world, but he haven't been to my world, but I'm in his world now. So yeah, I think we make a good team, me and Aaron. I'm glad for meeting him,
For the event about HIV and AIDS. Thank you,
To work with somebody who has shown such courage. When you see one person's journey from darkness into light, and then they become a beacon of light, shining back into the darkness, that is not only a beacon of hope, but it gives people direction, and it gives them a sense of pride. For me, that's just so amazing to be part of that.
I want to share my story and make people realize that you're never too bad to be good. And even in the darkest places, you can shine your light, and it just takes a little spark to get the fire going. So just one step in the right direction for me, it meant a great deal.
I was talking to somebody a while ago, and it was the first time that I heard about Tikkun Olam. I think as Jews, it feels like that's one of our main purposes here. This project and the work that Larry and I are doing, every time that we do a workshop or have a concert or we share the story, go into a school or a community, I can feel that it's healing. And for me, that's really what life's about.
God is, for me, is the creator of all. I don't know where I'm going to be. I hope to be where I want to be. But I think he knows exactly where he wants me to be, and he's the driving force behind me.
se statiases davvero e esta vez próximamente fiesta nos fica muito sortei.
I'm doing this just because it feels like it needs to be done, and it's a story that needs to be told, and it's a journey that needs to be supported. Not only, you know, working together and as a producer and as a musician, but really, you know, we're sharing our dreams and working on this project together as, I suppose, change makers in society, and we've become really close friends as well. It's changing my life just as much as it's changing his.
I will always shine forever.
Well, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you so much for being with us, and do tune in again next time. Remember, we are waiting to hear from you, so find us on Facebook at Spirit Sister Productions Network. As always, from me, Nikki, and the entire team, shalom and have a safe and peaceful week.